Donald Trump is blaming President Joe Biden for not instituting a national mask mandate during the coronavirus pandemic. Oh, wait. Oh, hold on. I got that wrong. I'm sorry. President Donald Trump is blaming Joe Biden for the lack of a mandate. And he did so, of course, on ABC News.
They said at the Democrat convention they're going to do a national mandate. They never did it because they've checked out and they didn't do it. And a good question is you ask, like Joe Biden, they said we're going to do a national mandate on masks.
He's called on all governors to have them. It is a state responsibility.
No, but he didn't do it. I mean, he never did it.
Okay. Joe Biden isn't president. I don't know if you know that, right? Last I checked, it was Donald Trump that's president. I know. No wonder it's confusing, though, because basically Trump is accusing Biden of having power, the power to have a national mask mandate, which, again, the president has the power. Look, again, this man is the dumbest person on the planet. Donald Trump had 6 months, more than 6 months to do a mask mandate, and he didn't. He didn't do it. He didn't do it. Joe Biden hasn't been in power since he was vice president, okay? Way before coronavirus pandemic was even thought of. Nonetheless, the Obama-Biden administration was looking into the possibility of a virus coming out of China and was working with the Chinese government to try to, come up with a plan just in case something like this happened. Donald Trump ended that. Donald Trump disbanded the team that was looking into doing this. And then we are, of course, completely caught off guard. And so Donald Trump, however, as I mentioned, he was literally the president of the United States since before the pandemic. And yes, the pandemic happened while on his watch. And yet he is, for some reason, blaming Joe Biden. It's crazy. It is unbelievable how little responsibility he takes for anything that happens, especially on his watch. And yet, of course, you're going to see MAGA guys are going to twist themselves into tiny little pretzels to try to blame Obama Biden. And it's just, look, sometimes I have to remind myself this is not a parody. Like, this is real life. And in real life, over 200,000 people have died from COVID-19. And yet, here's a president who is an absolute clown blaming somebody who literally did not have power to do anything. I mean, there are no words. There are no words. But it's actually going to get worse because, well, now he's going to go and, of course, do anti-mask rhetoric. Take a look.
Now, there is, by the way, a lot of people don't want to wear masks. There are a lot of people think the masks are not good. There are a lot of people. If you look at Dr. Fauci's original statement, you look at a lot of people, CDC, you look at a lot of people's original statement, they said very strongly, George, don't wear masks. Then all of a sudden they went to wear masks.
All right, so, hey, there's a reason for that, okay? For one, in the early days, we actually knew less about the transmission of the virus. We didn't know how crucial masks wearing was to slowing the spread of the virus. As our knowledge increased about the subject, since we did study and, we gathered more evidence about what works, what doesn't work, the trends of the virus. When that happens, the recommendations for mask wearing change. If you're an idiot, though, well, then you would look at this and be like, no, you originally said this, and now you're saying this. You must be pushing a political narrative. No, that's how science works. You literally do not understand how science works. And a lot of these people are not just ignorant, but they also do this to push a political narrative. Now, the other factor in this, right, was the shortage of medical grade masks for health professionals. Now, those are the more heavy-duty N95 masks. They actually do offer more protection than your standard mask. That's why they were reserved for medical professionals. Why? Because they were guaranteed to be exposed to large quantities of viral particles in the air in the hospitals while they're treating COVID patients. They needed these masks more than the average person whose non-medical grade mask if they were, of course, following social distancing and staying at home as much as possible and only going out to get the essentials and wearing a mask, well, then that normal mask would be enough protection to, protect them from possible viral particles from the person in the grocery store who decides they don't want to wear a mask. Look at it this way, right? N95s protect the user, right? Whereas normal masks try to protect everyone else. And so long as everyone does wear it, it helps to protect and by creating a barrier to prevent those airborne particles that are exhaled in water droplets, right, from escaping into the air, hanging into the air, and then having someone go and breathe that in. It's kind of gross when you think about it, but that's how it works. We're constantly breathing in other people's exhalations. It's kind of gross, but now, like I said, if there are people that are unmasked, it at least helps to prevent some of that, some of those water droplets from getting into your lungs, and it also prevents generally people's exhalations from at least those water droplets from getting through the mask, and therefore, as they're shedding the virus, they're not shedding it all over the place, but inside the mask. That's also why you have to wash your masks pretty often, right? And so that's how I understand how it works, okay? Now, the thing is, the N95 mask shortage is over. We've got enough supply now, right? And since we now understand more about the spread, the same medical professionals who, for those reasons, did not push masks before have since changed their position and now have advocated for, in the case of Dr. Fauci, the universal wearing of masks. Now, this isn't some grand conspiracy. This is how science works. This is how the scientific method works, right? Changing your view in regard to the evidence is completely normal. That is the normal part of science. And if you understood how it worked, you'd be like, oh yeah, that makes sense, right? The more we know, obviously, right? And we need to change our position based on the facts that we know now as we continue to study it more. But now, that said, there's going to be more video here from this town hall. And this is basically going to be Donald Trump lying about his statements that were on tape that he made to Bob Woodward about whether or not he was downplaying the virus. Take a look.
If you believe it's the president's responsibility to protect America, why would you downplay a pandemic that is known to disproportionately harm low-income families and minority communities?
Yeah. Well, I didn't downplay it. I actually, in many ways, I upplayed it in terms of action. My action was very strong. Yeah, because what I did was with China, I put a ban on. With Europe, I put a ban on. And we would have lost thousands of more people had I not put the ban on. So that was called action, not with the mouth, but in actual fact. We did a very, very good job when we put that ban on. Whether you call it talent or luck, it was very important. So we saved a lot of lives when we did that.
Oh my God, he's absolutely unbearable. You could call it talent or luck, but look at what a great job I did with the banning of people from the country, the travel ban. Okay, here's the thing though. Going back to what's important, I upplayed it. What are you talking about? I didn't downplay it. I upplayed the virus, because it really wasn't that big of a deal, but I upplayed it. But wait a minute, we have you in tape saying I downplayed it because I didn't want to create a panic. Those are your exact words. I didn't want to create a panic, so I downplayed it a little bit. We have what we wanted to do. And as far as the travel restrictions on China, right? That was the one thing that he did that his advisors strongly urged him to do. And again, that's it. And since then, he's been pushing the idea that the coronavirus is just a flu, that it's not really that big of a deal, that the lockdowns are completely unnecessary. Remember, he was on Twitter saying free Michigan, okay? Also saying that it's going to go away in the spring. It's going to go away when the weather gets warm. Well, now here we are, all the way in mid-September, summer. I mean, we had summer, temperatures got real warm, but weird. Coronavirus is still here, and it's been here all throughout the summer. And in fact, according to medical professionals, we're on track to have a pretty bad winter. and fall season. And so you combine COVID-19 with the annual flu, well, let's just say it's not going to be good. It's going to be very bad. Very bad. All right. But anyway, so as I said, he is a shameless fucking liar. All right. I mean, he's completely gaslighting the American people about COVID-19 and about his actions during the pandemic. There was nothing about it that was strong. Nothing about it that was strong. And not only that, but he's taken no responsibility whatsoever. I mean, look, I don't even blame Donald Trump for COVID-19 coming to America. I think that was pretty much inevitable, right? As it got into pretty much every other country. Because it's, so incredibly virulent and spreads so easily. But I do blame him. I sure as hell blame him for it spreading like wildfire in the United States because we had no plan, no leadership, and we still have no plan. In fact, the country is opening up. Big Ten just announced today that they plan on doing college games. And we're just going on with our lives now as normal. And that's not a good thing. We have just accepted the fact that hundreds of thousands of people will die from this virus. And we as a country collectively, at least a third of the country collectively shrugs their shoulders. I mean, nobody should be surprised, right? It's kind of on brand for a country that lets 45,000 people to die a year without health insurance because they can't afford it. And so why not let thousands more die so that we can go to fucking Applebee's again? No. We live in a sick country. We live in a broken culture. We are so fucked up. And I don't know how to explain to people that we should care about others. And that seems to be like the biggest problem of all is how do you explain that to people? I just don't know. I don't have the answers.